Philadelphia news, team of my heart. Joel Embiid's load management is taking a big turn this season, and if you care about the Sixers' title hopes, you need to hear this. With no back-to-backs and a knee brace, Embiid's health is in focus. Will these changes keep him on the floor when it matters most? Sixers fans know the pain of seeing their star sidelined. But could this be the key to success in the playoffs? Stay tuned for the latest Sixers news and hit subscribe to follow every game-changing update. Joel Embiid is taking a big step. He's sitting out the entire preseason, and you might be thinking, what does that mean for the Sixers? It's not just about giving him rest, it's about a whole new approach. The Sixers are setting up an aggressive injury prevention plan, and that starts with Joel not playing any back-to-backs anymore. That's right, you heard it from Embiid himself, those days are over. And you might have mixed feelings about it. On one hand, you get it. Embiid's health is crucial. The team has been down this road before. They need him fresh when it matters most, in the playoffs. You've seen what he can do at his peak, and the last thing you want is for him to burn out before the real action begins. The decision to prioritize his health, especially at this stage in his career, makes perfect sense. He's dropped weight, lost about 25 to 30 pounds, all in the name of longevity. You can see the thought process here: less stress on his joints, more mobility, better performance when it counts. But on the other hand, you can't shake the feeling of concern. No preseason games, no back-to-backs, and then there's the brace. The brace on that left knee. He's going to be wearing it for the foreseeable future, and you know he's never liked wearing anything that might slow him down. Face masks, braces, these things get in his head, and as a Sixers fan, that might make you nervous. Because it's not just physical, right? Basketball is as much mental as it is physical, and Embiid has admitted that wearing this brace affects him mentally. Yet, there's no denying that this is the right move. The Sixers can't afford to push Embiid to his limits early in the season. With Nick Nurse calling the shots and an improved roster around him, there's no need for Joel to carry the load every single night. Think about it: Paul George, Tyrese Maxey, and Andre Drummond can step up when needed. The depth is there, and that gives the team more flexibility to rest Embiid when it's smart to do so. This is about the long game. It's about getting to April, May, and hopefully June, with Joel Embiid still playing at an MVP level. You've seen him dominate the league when he's healthy. But those moments of dominance have been sprinkled with injury scares, times when you've held your breath, hoping that the latest tweak or fall wasn't serious. So yeah, sitting out preseason? Smart. No back-to-backs? Even smarter. But still, the brace. That's the part that sticks with you, right? Knowing that he's out there, uncomfortable, less fluid with his movements. You've watched him hit those beautiful pull-up jumpers, the smooth jabs, the footwork that makes him so dangerous. Now, with the brace, it might not look as sharp. He said it himself, it won't be the same. But he's still going to be effective. He's still Joel Embiid. You have to trust that his skill set, even with a little less mobility, is going to carry him through. He's always been more than just an athlete, he's a basketball savant. You think back to Tim Duncan, who Embiid referenced as inspiration. Duncan didn't rely on sheer athleticism to dominate, he evolved his game as he got older. And that's what Joel is doing now. He's evolving. But it's hard, because you're used to the Joel Embiid who overwhelms opponents with power, size, and finesse. Now, you're watching a version of him that's adjusting, thinking ahead, planning for the long haul. It's a strange feeling, isn't it? On one hand, you're relieved that the Sixers are finally being proactive about Embiid's health. You know this is necessary. But on the other hand, there's a bit of sadness knowing that the player you've watched grow into a dominant force is having to make these concessions. The brace is a reminder that Joel is human, that his body has limits, and that those limits are being reached. You might be wondering, is this the right move for Joel Embiid? Can you really count on him to stay effective, even with the changes? It's a tough question because you've seen what he can do at full strength, and that's what you want every time he steps on the court. But here's the thing, this isn't about getting the same Embiid you're used to. This is about getting a smarter Embiid, one who knows how to conserve his energy, protect his body, and still dominate when it matters. Think about how Joel has evolved over the years. He's gone from a raw, injury-prone player to an MVP. But those injuries have always loomed over his career, haven't they? You've probably had moments where you held your breath every time he hit the floor hard, hoping it wasn't another setback. Now, Embiid is taking control of that narrative. He's choosing to limit himself in certain areas so he can maximize what he gives you in the long run. And as a fan, that's something you have to come to terms with. The brace on his knee, it's more than just a piece of equipment. It's a symbol of where he's at in his career. Sure, he doesn't like wearing it. It makes him feel uncomfortable, and maybe it makes you uncomfortable too, knowing he's not fully free in his movements. But if wearing it means he can still be on the court in the playoffs, making those crucial plays, isn't it worth it? You've watched him push through pain before, and this time, it's about being smart, not just tough. That's a different kind of strength, and you have to ask yourself, do you trust Embiid to manage this situation and still be the player the Sixers need? You know, it's easy to get caught up in the here and now. Joel not playing in the preseason, no back-to-backs, the knee brace, it feels like a lot of limitations. But the bigger picture is what you need to focus on. This isn't about how Joel looks in October. It's about how he looks when the Sixers are making that push deep into the postseason. He's made it clear that he's thinking long-term, and that should give you some comfort. He's not just trying to survive the regular season, he's aiming to be dominant when it counts. But the question still lingers, doesn't it? Can Joel Embiid, even with all these precautions, still be the guy who takes the Sixers over the top? That's what you want to know. That's what keeps you engaged, watching every update, every decision the team makes. Because at the end of the day, the Sixers' championship hopes rest on his shoulders. And sure, you've got other great players around him, Tyrese Maxey, Paul George, the supporting cast is there. But it's Joel's health, his ability to stay on the court, that will make or break this season. You've seen how fragile that can be. Just last year, he played through injuries in the playoffs, and while he gave it everything, you could tell he wasn't 100%. That's why this approach feels different. It's not about pushing through until something breaks. It's about preventing things from breaking in the first place. And that's a shift in mentality, both for Joel and for you as a fan. You have to adjust your expectations, understanding that this version of Embiid is more calculated, more careful, but still capable of leading this team to glory. How do you feel about that? Does it make you nervous to see him out there, knowing he's got a brace on, knowing he's not going to play every game? Or does it give you confidence that this time, they're doing what's necessary to keep him in top shape when it counts the most? It's a tough balance to strike, and that's what keeps you watching, analyzing every move, every decision. You have to wonder, what's the ultimate goal here? Is it just about winning games in the regular season, or is it about something more? The Sixers have their eyes on a championship, and this plan with Joel is a part of that. But there's a lot riding on it. You've been with the Sixers through it all, the highs and the lows. And now, with Joel Embiid taking a different approach, you can't help but feel the weight of it. Can this new version of Embiid, one that's more careful, more restrained, still be the centerpiece of a championship team? You know the talent is there. You've seen it firsthand, those dominant performances where he single-handedly changes the game. But the question you keep asking yourself is whether this cautious strategy will pay off when the stakes are at their highest. Let's be real, you've watched Embiid push through injuries in the past, and while he's given his all, it's come at a cost. Last year, his knee injury clearly slowed him down in the playoffs. That's why this season feels like a pivotal one. You're seeing a plan unfold that could be the difference between another early exit and a deep run to the finals. But can you truly trust this process? Is it enough to simply rest him during the regular season and hope he'll be at full strength come playoff time? The brace he'll be wearing is a constant reminder that his health is fragile. And sure, it might limit some of those explosive movements you love to see, those incredible plays that leave you in awe. But at the end of the day, this is about keeping him on the floor when it matters most. Wouldn't you rather see a healthy, albeit slightly less aggressive Embiid, than risk losing him to another injury? You've been down that road before, and it's always left you wondering, what if? With Nick Nurse leading the charge and a strong supporting cast, the Sixers have a real shot at making noise in the playoffs. But the heart of it all is Joel. You know it. He knows it. That's why every move they make, every decision to rest him or limit his minutes, is about preserving his ability to perform when it matters. You've seen other stars around the league manage their careers this way, Tim Duncan, LeBron James, and while it might feel strange to see Embiid in this more measured role, you have to think it's the right call. So, what do you think? Does this plan give you hope, or does it leave you feeling uncertain about the Sixers' future? Are you confident that Joel Embiid can still be the unstoppable force he's always been, even with these new limitations? It's a lot to process, and as a fan, you're emotionally invested in every step of this journey. Now, here's where you come in. If you believe in this team, if you're ready to see how this new strategy plays out, you need to stay locked in. The Sixers are gearing up for something big, and this is just the beginning. Subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and make sure you don't miss a single update. This season, more than ever, you'll want to be there for every moment. Are you ready to see how it all unfolds?